Hello everybody, how are you all doing? Baru here, and today I'm gonna go ahead and give you my pseudo review of No Man's Sky. I was really debating on whether or not I actually wanted to make this video because everyone is basically doing the exact same thing and just kind of piling it one on top of another and all saying the same stuff. But hey, seeing that I've streamed 54 hours of this game and hit the center of the galaxy and all that stuff, I would like to validate myself and make some kind of review here. And if you are new to my channel, I just kind of speak off the cuff like this. This is basically all of my YouTube videos that I upload once a month. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get into our No Man's Sky review. So if you're like the one person that doesn't know what No Man's Sky is, basically it's a walking simulator where you look at cool little planets and that's about it. I wish I was exaggerating there, but I'm not really. For the most part, if you're new here, what you do is you crash land on a random ass planet when you first start the game, and you are just told to explore. That's it. You are given no other direction other than to just explore. So what you want to do is you want to gather some resources, you want to repair your ship. Once you've done that, you want to go look around for some blueprints. And how do you do that? You go talk to the one of 3 alien races that are in the entire game. Out of this mass 18 quintillion world thing that they have created, there's only 3 races. Let me just go ahead and say this. The best way to describe No Man's Sky, as wide as an ocean, as deep as a puddle, is probably the best way to explain it. There is a lot of variety. There's not much in that variety, however. To give you a general example of what you can expect when you first land on a planet is where the resources at. That's all you really care about when you hit a planet. You don't really care about, is it toxic? Is it hot? Is it cold? Are there sentinels? Are there wildlife? Let's go ahead and touch on all of those topics. Pretty much every single environmental hazard that you can possibly imagine or encounter inside of No Man's Sky is completely trivialized because they don't even kill you. Even if they manage to drain your shield, they then have to go through a second shield on a 20-second delay that it will take a very long time for it to actually chip through. And half the time there's flowers all over the map that will instantly refill your shield. So you basically cannot die from any weather effects. Let's go to the sentinels now. The only sentinels that you are ever going to encounter are the tiny little drones that die in 2 shots. There never really is any sense of, oh my god, I might die to sentinels at any given moment, unless you just piss them off until you get a tier 3 walker, which you really have to go out of your way to try and do. Basically what you have to do is find a sentinel, piss him off, leave him alive for a minute and a half, he'll call for help, that then upgrades to 2 stars, you then wait, that upgrades to 3 stars, you then wait, that upgrades to 4 stars, then you wait, that upgrades to 5 stars, and then a walker will finally appear. Imagine like GTA, only instead of sending the army to stop you, they send Billy with a gun. That's pretty much all they're going to do to try and stop you from whatever you're doing. And again, you have to go out of your way to actually make that happen. You will never encounter that. For the most part, the sentinels provide a nuisance more than an actual threat. You can pretty much just go about your business and do what you want. Talking about the wildlife now and hazards, most of the wildlife are completely brain dead. You are basically fighting spores rejects half the time with fly head zombie unicorn winged dragon things. I don't even know how to explain it. It's like you took 18 different animals and threw it into a blender and then just popped out 11 different variants, and there you go. There's your wildlife for this planet, basically. Some of them might be hostile, some of them might not be hostile, some of them might do something for you. Who really knows? The wildlife, you're never really going to ever feel threatened by them, no matter how big the wildlife is, which, considering most wildlife is going to be about your size or smaller, rarely you will find something larger than you. I want to say that in 50 hours of gameplay, I found one thing that was the size of a building, and it died in a single shot. And I was just like, oh, okay. Well, there goes that quote threat. Yeah, that's unfortunate. So you're never really going to ever feel threatened. Now, why is that actually important? The reason that you need to feel some kind of threat is because you're visiting all of these unique planets. And this is a quote survival. There is no sense of survival at any point during this game. The Sentinels don't bother you. The toxic levels of the planet don't bother you. The animals don't bother you. Most of the time, the ways you are going to die is that you warp to a new planet and immediately get attacked by pirates before you can even get your bearings, because you can't actually control your ship for the first 10 seconds when you enter a solar system. So by the time you can control them, your shield is already at 25%. So that's more of a game flaw than the pirates actually being any kind of difficult. It happens from time to time, especially if you have rare cargo. But for the most part, you don't ever feel like you are actually being threatened. And for some reason, if your health meters actually do go low, there is carbon literally on every single piece of flora and fauna and rocks and everything. You can recharge your shield in half a second at any given moment. There is no sense of danger at all with this game. So why is that important? Yeah, the survival, the combat, that's all really bad, but why is that such an important aspect? Because then what are you left with? If you have no sense of survival and you have no sense of wanting to even explore the species because they're all just randomly generated spore rejects and the Sentinels don't do anything, what do? You upgrade your ship. What do you do after that? You fly. You fly from planet to planet. You start on one planet, you mine the resources, you refuel your ship, you fly to the next planet, you mine for resources, you fly to the next planet, you mine for resources. You get this general trend, at which point you're going to start to really pick up the randomness of this game. And that basically it's not really that random. It's not 18 quintillion planets, it's 25 planets with randomly generated aspects of, hey, this one's toxic, and with a different color scheme, it's totally different from the last planet that you did that was white and had gold. Yeah. And that's pretty much the general randomness of this game. And that's the kind of problem that No Man's Sky really starts to have issues with these things as you progress through the game. Yeah, you can kind of I use the words interact with the alien species. There's only 3 of them out of the entire 18 quintillion planets. There's only 3 of them that are there. You've got the Corvex, which is basically Daft Punk. You've got the Gek, which is a lizard, and then you've got the Vakri, which is basically an orc that had its mouth ripped open. And that's basically all you can kind of expect. The problem with it is that after about 5 hours of playing the game, I was noticing the same prompts. See, the way that it works with interacting with the alien species is that they get a prompt and they are asking you something in their alien language and they want you to do something. The problem is that you don't understand what they're saying unless you learn their language, which you can do by kind of picking up these knowledge stones, which even after picking up 400 knowledge stones, I still barely understand what they're actually saying unless I got lucky and just picked the right one. But it ended up becoming to the point to where after 5 hours, I started to notice the exact same questions. I was being asked the same stuff and being given the same rewards. And I was like, oh, I don't actually have to learn their language. I just need to learn the 20 different answers for each species. And there we go. I now know every possible thing they are actually going to ask me. And half the time, it answers itself for you. If you actually just read the text, it tells you the exact same. It tells you exactly what you need to answer. You don't even need to know what they're saying half the time. And that is where, so that pretty much gets rid of interacting with any of the alien race. They pretty much just become an RNG generator of your blueprints. The only way to really get blueprints inside of No Man's Sky is to just interact with the alien race. And half the upgrades that you need are locked behind an RNG grindfest of bullshit. Hell, after 54 hours, I still can't get an Atlas Pass V2, which is used to unlock different areas and give you better loot, and I could never get one after 50 hours of going after the same damn thing, prompt after prompt after prompt after prompt. And it would just keep saying, here's a technology that you have already learned. And that was like, why is that even an option? Why can you keep teaching me the same exact thing that I already learned 8 hours ago? That doesn't make any sense. What makes it even better is that the game, after you've learned enough recipes, will teach you the recipes to make the basic suit that you start with, that you cannot craft or dismantle. It gives you a recipe for something you can't craft or move in your inventory slot. It's literally there because the game crafts it for you when you first start the game. So it's in the code, but it's not actually there and you can't do anything with it. But it's a, quote, reward. And that's what usually happens after about 12 hours of gameplay, is that the game doesn't even know what it wants to give you at this point. It's like, all right, this game really only has about 4 to 5 hours of actual content. The rest of it is just flying from point A to point B. And after you've explored so much, I'm sorry, we don't know what to give you at this point. Please go search a planet for the next 12 hours. And that's No Man's Sky in a nutshell. That's basically what you can kind of expect. The problem with all of this is that No Man's Sky is an early access game. Straight up. It's a $20 early access game being hyped to no end with a $60 price tag that does not match the content that's in the game. You are being basically held by the hand and told, hey, go explore here. It's different, I swear. And this is ignoring the abysmal PC launch that this game got and the nearly nauseating 20 FPS, like 60 FOV that the console has to deal with. It's almost a pain to watch those games at that low of an FPS on console. And I don't want to make like a console versus PC like argument or anything. It's just like they both suck. Does it run like shit? It's on the PC. Does it look like shit? It's on the console. It's basically the standard for people asking on Twitch, is this PC or console? That was the clear indicator. That was the check mark that you looked for to figuring out. Although for some, you got both check marks for PC, because for some, it doesn't even run properly. And there's a beta patch coming out, which I tried on my live stream, that made the game worse. I didn't think it was actually possible to make the game run any worse than what it currently does. But Sean saw that fire and was like, yo, I got some gasoline. Let me throw that in there real quick. No Man's Sky is a game that I want to like because it has a lot of interesting features, but it's too grand for its own good. It wants to be so much, but it cannot deliver that at all on any level. It tries to do everything and fails at all of them. As wide as the ocean, as deep as a puddle, is No Man's Sky in a nutshell. Honestly, I think this game will be great 2 years down the line with PC mods and a very, very lowered price tag. Now, it has been said, quote, oh, but all the DLC will be free. They've already started to retract that statement of saying, hey, listen, maybe it won't all be free. Maybe we might, do some actual, like, paid DLC, which at that point I'm like, dude, what? I don't really know where to go with it. I committed myself on my live stream. I was like, you know what? We're 8 hours in. I like the game. I like what it wants to do. Let's just see where the ending is. Now let's go ahead and touch on the ending. If you don't like spoilers, I'd recommend closing the video now, although there's really not much to spoil. Anyway, once you finally, after like 50 plus hours, reach the center of the galaxy, it picks you up and puts you right back where you started and says, do it again. There are no gameplay changes. You keep all of your upgrades. You keep everything in the game. That's right. That's the ending of No Man's Sky. You literally just do it again with all of your stuff. It's like New Game Plus, but with no actual upgrades. Imagine Dark Souls, but New Game Plus, it didn't make the enemies any stronger. They just stayed weak. Everything is exactly the same. You just walked into New Game Plus with all of your kick-ass armor, all of your stats, all of your guns, all of your swords, all of your everything, but everything is still terrible. So once you've learned all the blueprints and you go into New Game Plus mode, there's no reason to interact with the alien race at all. You already know all the answers. You already know all the blueprints. There's no reason to try and look for a better ship because it doesn't exist. You have the best ship. You cannot upgrade your multi-tool anymore because you have the best multi-tool. You cannot upgrade your backpack anymore because you've maxed out on upgrade slots. Once you've reached the center, there is zero reason to keep playing the game. Once you reach the center, it just puts you right back at the edge with a slightly different colored core. That's it. That's the end of the game, which I was in sheer shock that was the actual end. I get what they're trying to do and that they want it to be an infinite, like, you know, exploration and adventure and all that, because you could say, well, you're missing out on all the content because you haven't explored all 18 quintillion worlds. And it's like, yes, perhaps after 18 quintillion levels of bullshit, I might find the diamond in the rough that they recorded for the E3 trailer. The chances of that happening are almost non-existent. Hey, just like people meeting each other inside of the game. I'm going to go ahead and touch on that. They completely lied about what was actually in this game. Straight up lied. They said, hey, can you meet other people? Yes, that is not true. What do you look like? You can't see what you look like, but someone could tell you what you look like if they saw you. That is a lie. You cannot meet anybody. There is no multiplayer at all in any way. And that is something that I feel would have definitely helped this game, because while you might be bored, bullshitting with another bored buddy might potentially make it a little bit cooler or better. Multiplayer in co-op usually makes things better, no matter how boring the game might be for that particular person. So that is pretty much everything about No Man's Sky and my thoughts on everything that I have experienced. It's a very bland walking simulator that wants to do everything and fails on so many levels that it can't even hold itself up. I like the idea of what it wants to do, but it just simply cannot. It can't hold up. It is incapable. I don't like giving ratings for games. I was going to say if I had to give a rating, but honestly, I don't like giving specific, oh, it's a 4 out of 10. Oh, it's a 10 out of 10. Because honestly, I don't even know where to justify it. It doesn't even feel finished. It does not feel like a game that had blood, sweat, and tears. It looked like a game where they added a bunch of randomization and said, okay, go guys, it's fun, go! It's fun! Look at the trailers, it's fun! Which, hey, if you're playing on a crafted level, which all of the trailers were made on, every single trailer, every single gameplay that you saw leading up to this launch were on crafted levels. Honestly, I would have much preferred to see a lot less of the 18 quintillion and instead shrink that down to about 100. I think if more time and effort had gone into making each planet feel lush and unique, or making some of them actually feel like a desolate, barren wasteland, it would feel a lot better. But right now, it's just like, it's a crapshoot. It might be good, it probably won't. That's mostly... Out of all of the people that I had seen landing on new planets, for the first hour, it was exciting. After the 4th hour, it was like, well, let's see what this desolate planet has. Oh, there's nothing here. Who would have thought? That was the general expectation and the general response to most people who played it after a certain amount of time. I guess that will be my rating. My rating for No Man's Sky is a solid ocean out of puddle. That is what I will give this game. Anyway, that pretty much sums up my review. I didn't like that this mostly came off as ranting and raving, but, you know, I wanted to give my actual thoughts and opinions on this and everything and just kind of go over it. We've been talking for quite some time now, so I'm going to go ahead and hang up. I want to thank you all for taking time to listen to me. I'm just a dude on the internet, and you decided to stay here for a little bit of time. Thank you so very much. Hey, if you like my videos, I'll upload another one maybe within the next 5 years. I'm shooting for like a 1 in 5 years video quota here. So thank you so very much, and I will see you all in the next video sometime in 2020 when this game is actually finished. All right, bye-bye, everybody. Later.
Ah, yes. I was wondering what would break first. Your spirit? Oh, your buddy!